So, I think a quick recap on the last session. The group, having done a small favour down in the sewers for the halflings, made their way down with Mr. Leclerc, aka Chris, who was a guest for the session, and managed to smuggle into a cell within the barracks, swap Mr. Leclerc for a slightly less than lucid victim, spin a little story to the guard, and then switch places back. Meanwhile, the group were neck deep in rats, and slightly worse for wear, everyone managed to make it out, back to the halflings, and congratulations, they have now all agreed to sign up to the Thieves Guild. However, between last session and this, they have been offered some work for Elise MAguerius. Also shout out to Sirenscape for the music, which I nearly forgot. Now, the beginning of this session, the group meet at the Osterdam of Bogenhafen early in the morning. Mist slightly clearer at this point, visibility just coming into view. And here the group are greeted by their new employer Elise and guided to a large passenger barge, full to the brim with life and some 100 passengers on the deck alone. Most of whom would appear to be miners or involved in the metalworks industry of some description. A few, however, stand out as merchants or perhaps even some slightly better off citizens. And of course there are some less savoury characters mixed within. But for the patrons that are slightly better off, they're afforded a little bit of personal space and an area to avoid the sticky fingers of the lower classes and Shauna. So via... Yes. Yeah, don't you worry, don't you worry.
You said you were low class.
You're kept well away from anyone with money while on the ship, I'm afraid, Shauna.
God damn it.
Via this glorious vessel, you set sail for Morlenfurt, and although technically upstream on the Bogen, the near still waters combined with a stiff breeze allow for a modest travel time of 6 to 7 hours, which gives you and Elise ample time to catch up on your latest adventures. You can certainly notice a little bit of a chipper appearance to her. She seems slightly excited by this trip. Your route is to the Grey Mountains, where she has some business to tend to. She's been hired on some task there, although she hasn't divulged the details. But you are stopping at Morlenfurt to meet with Moritz, one of her friends. So... any questions?
On the way there, do we figure out, or do we ask her if there's anything new regarding the chauffeur?
The carriage driver.
The carriage driver.
Who got killed?
Yes, my investigators are looking into it. The only thing that has come up is that he owed a lot of people a large sum of money. So it seems a particularly strange way to meet one's maker by having one's stomach torn open. But I have hired an investigator to pursue the matter for the meantime. It is most disturbing, and of course we have a few extra guard.
No other information, however, is afforded. So, some hours later, you do arrive at Morlenfurt and are greeted by the sight of a busy dock, brimming with carts, crates, and ships being loaded with metals and ore which is carried down from the mountains. As well as this, you notice the higher than usual quantity of dwarfs which populate the town, and which the town is indeed well known for. Being affiliated with Clan Dronaz, many of its inhabitants make their way down here while bringing back and forth ore, and also some decide to take up permanent residence. Stepping off of the ship now, Elise turns back to you.
I am due to meet Moritz for around lunchtime, so if you do not mind, we will make a hasty move.
Okay.
I just nod my head and like, yeah, let's go.
Thank you.
Now, making your way through the streets of Morlenfurt, which is a fairly tidy and industrious town typically, with lots of smithies, lots of metalworks, the ore being processed, carried around, very, very industrious, a bit like Bogenhafen, but a little bit more on the ore side of things. You do certainly notice around you that a lot of the inhabitants are sickly currently. many a coughing, spluttering, sneezing. Some look like they're perhaps meeting their maker at some point soon. There is certainly maybe 1 in 10 individuals on the streets that you can notice. And as well as this, a huge quantity of rats lie in every corner, even in broad daylight. Running around the streets, you can see the occasional dog and cat giving chase to some of the larger ones and occasionally turning tail to run away from even larger ones. The town is a little bit chaotic, but no one's being attacked by them. Would you all make me a perception test, please?
Shauna eeks at the rats, by the way.
Ooh.
These are slightly less brave rats than your previous session, and keep well away from human contact, let's say. There are no swarms involved on the streets.
Yeah, you better run.
Okay. So making your way along as a group, you keep in tight formation and notice a couple of individuals to your left who are, let's say, giving Elise a little bit of the eye. She's currently quite smartly dressed and does stand out a little bit from the crowd. To your right, as well, appears to be a beggar which is making her way up to share something with Elise, or perhaps even just to do some begging. I will allow you to do what bodyguards do.
Step aside.
Yeah, Oleg immediately positions himself between the beggar and Elise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Rogal cowers in the back.
I will allow you to roll me an intimidate roll, and given your new status, you will get a +10. However, given that there's quite a lot of you, you will get an even bigger bonus. So have a +40 to intimidate.
Whoever wants to do it.
I mean, I have the highest intimidate, so...
Then roll it.
And
Go
you're
for
the
it.
ugliest.
How much bonuses?
The ugliest.
+40.
Okay.
So the little old lady who's clambering toward excuse me, runs away. She just, you terrify her. But job well done.
Bruder, am I that spooky?
She looked sickly anyways.
Elise looks grateful, but slightly concerned at the degree of muscle to keep an old lady away from her, but nevertheless gives you a thankful nod. Given your previous perception scores, another 100 yards down, you do notice that 2 individuals appear to be following you, and, well, you fortunately clocked this thanks to pretty much everyone rolling a positive. So, what's to be done?
How far have been they? For how long have they been tailing us?
About 50 metres, but you can see them occasionally pointing and looking at Elise, talking to each other. They look like they're up to no good.
Are they well
I
dressed
sort of...
or like?
2 individuals, fairly young, dressed fairly inconspicuous, look not too well off, but a bit rough around the edges.
Okay. Bruder might assisting me too?
Should we not ask our employer?
Okay. Elise, there seems to be 2 individuals that have been following you, yeah? And I sort of move my head backwards. Are we to, take care of them, or...?
I'm not quite sure what you mean by take care of, but perhaps just shine that nice sword at them a little bit. Let them know you're armed, perhaps.
Ooh, very well. Bruder, wanna join me?
Very bad.
Okay. So both unsheathing your weapons for a moment, turning around to draw eye contact. I'll allow another intimidate roll, another +40. Given that there's a group of you, you are now looking more imposing, being equipped, armoured to a degree.
Did better to scare the old lady.
They meet your eyes and instantly turn tail to move away, losing interest at the thought of losing one's life in pursuit of a few coin. The rest of the journey is a little quieter, and you are headed towards slightly suburban part of town. This is smaller than Berghafen, so it doesn't take quite so long to traverse. It boasts a population of around 2,000, but you can walk from one side to the other within sort of 40 minutes. However, it's not too far before you arrive at the home of Moritz, where Elise walks up. Now, this is a nice, pretty-looking, stately home. It has no garden around it and no land to boast of, but it has a few potted plants you can see around the edge. Some well-kept brickwork and nicely washed. You can tell that this is a well-to-do home. But Elise points, as this is where Moritz lives. Do come in, and mutters to the guards, I'm Elise. He is expecting me. With that, Elise steps inside. Moritz, where are you? I'm in here, darling. Come. Moritz, Elise moves around the corner. Moritz, good to see you. Wonderful to see you, darling. You're looking radiant as always. The two have a warm hug. Let me introduce you to William, my advisor. Elise shakes your hand, and the rest of you at this point catch eye with William, your previous brother-in-arms.
Oleg waves to William.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello.
You know each other. Well, this is a small world. What a convenience. How is it you met?
We actually met before we met you.
Yeah, we were in a carriage together, and because it was a carriage and not a boat, we were abducted by little green children, goblins, and we met William there as well, and we became fast comrades in arms.
That is quite the tale. I would like to hear more about this. I tell you what, so, Moritz, I believe you wanted some help with paperwork? And Maurice and Elise have a small conversation for the best part of 2 or 3 minutes just regarding their meeting before Elise turns around. I tell you what, Moritz has his own guard here. You won't be needed. We will be here the whole afternoon. So, William, Moritz has suggested you have the afternoon off. Go enjoy yourself. Have some fun with your comrades.
Bet you William looks hella shook at that thought.
William, do you know what an afternoon off is?
Yes, sure. I'm just so stunned, and apparently my microphone was muted.
Well, I'm glad that you fixed it.
Yes.
My
Dear friends, I have the perfect place for us to go to. There's this, it's called the Bramble Route. You'll absolutely enjoy it. It's so marvelous, so marvelous.
What is it called? The Bramble Bulbul?
Bramble Route Carnival. It's like this big home. I won't tell you all about it now. You'll have to see it for yourself. There are games and fun and betting and everything you could ever want. It's simply the perfect place to have a day off.
Games.
William, are there boats?
Well, to be perfectly frank, I'm not certain, but I think there's a fortune teller there. She might tell you if there's boats in your future.
This is known already. Never mind.
Well, I can tell you she's quite good. I mean, she actually gave me a prophecy that I would meet someone that I was very unlikely to meet, which I suppose is you guys. So it came true! Isn't that amazing?
I just look like sort of bewildered, but I don't believe it.
I want to investigate this lady.
Shauna's just interested in swindling some people at the carnival.
Now, please, let's get going and Elise, and leave the Madame Elise and Mr. Schlafender to do their business. Come on. Out we go.
Does he sleep a lot?
Schlafender. At this point,
Schlafender.
Elise and Moritz sit down in chairs, and they seem to be joyously talking at the moment. Perhaps this was the cause of Elise seeming slightly more chipper. Seemingly old friends, they instantly begin nattering about old acquaintances, who's up to what, and you can hear a small amount of small talk. So, a small journey across town toward a soon-to-be well-known establishment. It's been growing in its fame, mainly thanks to William and his high praise. You make your way to a tavern-esque looking building, but with a rather decadent looking sign on the front. The floor is yours.
What's the sign name?
What is the sign named, William?
Can you read?
No.
Then William will tell you. This is the Bramble Root Carnival. It's an old tavern kind of thing that they redid. Once you get inside, you'll see that there's all sorts of colors, and it's so pretty and so much fun. Come on, follow.
Bruder,
Yeah?
I think William may have a damaged head from when I hit him.
Let us not speak about that. He probably still has nightmares about
right.
bottles.
You might not remember. Good.
Right. Stepping inside, there's quite a busy and lively atmosphere within here. Straight to your left, you can see a dwarf and a man sat in two chairs with their feet interlocked, currently appearing to have perhaps be giving each other some form of foot massage. It's not entirely clear, given this isn't necessarily familiar to you. To your right is a couple of individuals with instruments, be it musical, seemingly having a break at the moment, and a man behind the bar greets you.
It's good to see you again, friend. Welcome back.
Always a pleasure.
You're not
I've
Rachel
brought
William.
friends.
Apologies. Lots of names to remember.
Oh, it's fine. Or Carnival Master, as I should probably call you.
Indeed.
Now, I've brought my friends here, and I want you to show them the best time there possibly is. So what would you suggest we start with?
That is a question. First, we need music. Let me sort you out with some music. Hey, you! Wake up! There we go, much better. It's not particularly loud. Let me adjust it a little bit. That's much better.
I hear if you give them a good knocking in the head.
Yes, louder,
itself.
you idiots, louder. Much better, much better. So, you could either have a little competition with the tall wrestling to see who is the strongest and the most dexterous. We also have Vinny upstairs. She is the mystic, spooky lady. Spooky. And as well as that, we have the Chamber of Horrors in the back. You know, that one.
Gives you a little wink.
Can I do an intuition?
An intuition check. Sure.
Yeah, to figure out what the Room of Horrors actually means or anything like it.
Oleg will
Just
be
a
assisting in that.
Bruder, what do you think it is?
I don't know, Bruder. Do we get any bonuses?
An intuition will tell you if he's telling the truth. It's not going to tell you what it is.
Well, okay. Is he lying about the Room of Horrors? Like, is it actually?
So just roll an intuition test, and I'll tell you something. Have plus 20. As a few of you are sharing some interest in this.
Oh.
There
He seems a nice
Yay.
guy. He doesn't seem to have any malicious intent for you. And he winked to William regarding it.
Entschuldigung, William, but what is this Room of Horrors?
Oh, well, it's... I mean, you really have to see it. I can't spoil. There's so much fun to be had when you experience it for the first time. It's like, I've tried it now, so I can't, feel that joy again. Can help other people feel it, and, well, now you're here, my friends. William puts a hand on your shoulder. Good times are ahead of us.
I hope it doesn't involve any bottles hitting our heads.
I'd like to make an intuition check on William.
Yeah, I'm about to make an intuition check on William.
Sure.
Oof.
Seems really nice.
Nice.
William, how do you look to Oleg?
Genuinely, a good guy. There's nothing harmful.
Okay. Well, I just believe you anyway, regardless of what you are.
Have you made your mind up, William? What would you like to do, Captain?
Well, then I suppose we should start with the... I mean, now that I have so many friends, why don't we do some foot-fast fate? You there, scoot over. We need some oil, and we need you guys to take your boots.
Excuse me?
The thug and the dwarf move out the way and step aside. They're actually just slobbing on the chair at that point, having wrestled feet for the whole of that conversation.
The rules are simple. William will tell them to you. Here, have a cup of oil. It's fresh from the docks.
Yes.
While they're doing their weird feet business, I asked the bartender if there's any other types of games that he could tell me about.
What type of games do you like?
Oh, I'm somewhat of a gambler.
Duh.
This
We
is the word
tend
you're
to
looking
do
for.
more entertainment in here, but I could play you a game of cards while you wait, perhaps?
Sure.
Sure, I tell you what, I'll put a penny on it.
Same.
And on that note, more music!
Band starts playing again. Right, so while Shauna and the bartender are playing a game of cards, Oleg goes upside down. William, I'll leave it to you to explain the rules.
So, my two friends and brothers, I think there would be nothing more satisfying to see who of you is the superior foot fighter. So if you'd both take your seat on the chair, take off your boots, and then we'll pour a bit of oil on there. And then the rules are that you have to wrestle the other one out of his chair using only your feet and your toes. The rest of us will be making bets, of course, to which one wins. In game mechanics, it's a dexterity test, unless your feet are very smelly, in case your opponent has to roll a toughness or a forfeit.
Oh, so Phoenix automatically wins. Grimwald, I mean.
I clean my feet. They do not stink.
Yeah, the dirty feet.
Oleg has a serious case of trench foot, FYI.
Nice.
Just dunking in the shit last time.
Well, you have been in the sewers only recently.
Yeah.
Indeed. Let's roll some dex checks. No mods.
Beat that.
Of course.
Whoa!
Damn. Damn. Do you play this for multiple rounds, William, or do you do it as just a single straight roll?
Well, either can work depending on if... I mean, normally you do best out of 3, right?
Yeah, I think that would be fair. Okay. The dwarf referee. First round goes to the holy-looking fellow over there with the long hair. Well, nicely done. Nice feet, by the way.
Oh, your toe dexterity is really quite something. I've never seen a toe bend quite that way and not break.
We used to play as children a lot.
Round 2. Dings two cups together.
They get an advantage
Knock, knock,
because
knock.
I won the previous check.
No.
Okay, going for round 2.
Should have given you a point of fatigue. Oof. And don't worry, laddie, you'll get better with time. You'll get better with time. Pats you on the shoulder.
It's the cramps.
I know, laddie, you can't help being tall and lanky. Anyway, well done to the greasy-looking man over here. Good job. And shakes your hand. Dwarf seems very impressed with you.
Thank you. Do I get oil to take for home or anything like a reward? Huh?
Oh my gosh.
Maybe some salts?
No, but it's quite... You can have some for a penny.
Bruder, after this, your boots just slide on.
Yeah, isn't it exciting?
He just squelches as he slides his feet into the boots.
Mm-hmm.
Something a little fishy about the oil. You get the impression it's perhaps a blubber of sorts that's been processed. Works, though.
It's a fishy oil.
Can we
not
wash it off somehow?
Yeah. Facilities are provided. They give you a little rag to brush it. It does leave your feet feeling very smooth and also a little fishy, but very smooth.
So, I suppose that proved to us who's the better brother. William laughs.
Poor Oleg.
Does not matter.
Feels
So-
bad, man.
He is the best brother in the world, and that is all that matters. And I sort of put my arm around him and give him a hug.
And what's Rogel been up to during this?
Vinny.
Okay, Rogel's
Vinny.
headed upstairs to the attic, where there is a singular wooden door, slightly ajar. And as you reach the top of the stairs, you can hear through the crack in the door, "Come in, laddie."
Alright, I'll go on in.
In front of you is you can't tell if she's old or young, as she currently has the majority of her face draped, hair draped in front, hood over the top, and sort of wiggling her hands around some tea leaves that are in front of her on a table.
Very theatric.
Hey, it's part of the magic. Come, sit down.
Alright, I'll sit.
Would you like your fortunes read, little man?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
It'll cost you 2 pennies.
How much? 2 pennies, huh?
Aye, magic is not free.
You can roll me a perception check if you like to see what you can see of this lady. You can have plus 20 as you're right next to her. Nice.
Oh my
You're
god.
not exactly sure if she's old, young, or if she's even has some magical aura about her, because you're just busy looking at the tea leaves right now.
Hey, look at this. Oh no. Ye will meet a swift end. But not for a while.
Okay. I know that I'm little. Things happen swiftly when you're little.
Don't you worry.
And she continues to then, let's say, talk through some vague and less specific fortunes of good omens, good tidings, today being a particularly favourable day for you. But
All right.
as you turn to leave, she says,
Be careful, laddie. Let the others go first.
I always allow that to happen.
with that, she continues mumbling and muttering to herself. Let's have a sleight. Are you doing sleight of hand, Shauna, or are you just rolling a regular? Okay, sleight of hand check first.
Give me a sec.
Oppose that by
fails.
Nothing.
She gets caught.
no bonus.
I'm gonna love it if she gets caught.
For success. Not a bad perception roll from him, but he's not that perceptive, so you got away. So yeah, you're able to slide the cards. Let's have a gambling
Also,
test now.
Yeah, it's a gambling test.
Yes.
Okay. Gamble.
He's terrible.
Bonus minus?
Plus 40. I'm pretty sure this isn't the exact rules, but it'll do for now.
Yeah.
Lovely. Absolutely whooped him. In just a few seconds, he's in pieces. Best of 3 still goes to you. And you can claim an entire brass... You can have 2 brass pennies after all that, okay. So there you go. You can have Rogals.
I accidentally clicked myself.
There, you got me. Fair and square. Golly. That was your really impressive hands. I did not know the cards had that many of that type. Oh.
It's a special deck.
Fair enough.
Outside.
It was a great pleasure doing business with you.
No, of course. Anytime. Just not right now.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to want to lose any more money to you. And outsiders, seeing as where you're stood, Shauna, you can see in the central town square a little bit of a group gathering. Seems to be a preacher currently stood atop a stage having a talk. Nothing else of note, but you certainly notice a small crowd.
I asked the bartender if it's something important. Is it some sort of holiday? What's the occasion?
He sticks his head out.
No. That is Father Ives. He is crazy.
He explains to you that the current plague that is befitting the town and running rampant through the streets, Father Ives has seen to it personally to deal with the matter. However, he's resorted to fairly desperate means of hanging those he seems to be spreading pestilence. Not those afflicted with the disease, but those responsible for the rats coming out of the sewers. And thus far, it seems to be anyone and everyone that is within his reach, and he's riled up a mob on a couple of occasions to do some good old-fashioned lynching.
Mm-hmm.
Can we overhear the conversation?
I'll tell you it, even if you can.
You'd be able to hear something going on out in the streets behind you, Grimvold. You can make a perception test with -10. It's a distance, but he is speaking fairly loud. Yeah, you can't really make out too many words.
We'll
Either
keep
way,
an eye on him.
I tell them if they want to check him out, they can go out and see what's going on.
I ask if she tells us, like I ask William, Entschuldigung, but this rat problem seems like a real problem, yeah?
No.
Well, there's quite the amount of sniffles going about right now. It's kind of horrid. I mean, it is what it is. Another day.
Are the leeches not helping you?
No, not particular, no.
By chance, William, are you afflicted with the,
No, I'm afflicted with nothing. I'm perfectly clean. Now, please,
okay.
Did we come here to have fun, or did we come here to interrogate? Come on, come along.
Well,
We're gonna do the Room of Horror now. It's very important that... Well, I don't know if we should do it to the winner of the competition to show how glorious he is, or the loser to, punish him for sucking.
Well, I am the Rock Pants champion in Bogenhafen, so I should give my brooder a chance to become the champion elsewhere.
What is this sport called?
Well, the Room of Horrors, it's quite fine, actually. It's nothing dangerous, but it is very exciting. If you'll just follow me to the back room.
Enjoy, brooder.
Is that like staying put?
Yes.
We need an audience as well. William's gonna shout when he's at the... It's no fun without an audience.
I'm coming, Unge. He moves around. The bartender takes sort of front seat as well. Another thug stands at the back to watch. Pretty much everyone moves over to have a gander. Right, so who's the victim?
You won't be missed.
That would be this one. I point to Olech, I guess, and point to the chair. Come on.
Pointing to Oleg, did you say?
Yeah, I guess. Wasn't that the... Or Grimald. No, shit, Grimald. He's the one supposed.
They're slowly.
Oleg's, he's not having it, so he's gone. Okay, Grimwald is in the chair. So, what happens, Grimwald, is first the dwarf moves up to you. Don't mind, just me again. It's just a formality. He pulls out a few ribbons and ropes and binds your hands behind your back. As well as this, you are gagged with a piece of rope around the mouth, basically fastening you to the chair. Feet also tied together. Now, let me explain to you the rules. You've got to try and undo this, and us throwing things at you combined with a few actors will try and put you off. Sound reasonable?
I nod with
Yep.
a yes.
Indeed. And on that note, bear with me 1 second while we traverse the layers. So the dwarf at this point rings a bell, and you can hear from out back a few people quickly. Sounds like some people are getting dressed, putting some clothes on. You can hear them knocking about something. Obviously difficult to tell what. And in comes a group of individuals currently wearing masks. Fairly spooky looking. Painted yellows and reds. They're in some sort of, let's say, fancy dress, appearing to be something demonic in nature, but fairly clumsily and crudely made. But still, somewhat peculiar to look at. They each have a ribbon in their hand as well, a fairly thick piece of rope, which in front of you they proceed to light. And as the end starts to flicker with a degree of flame, the dwarf shouts, "All right, 3, 2, 1. And on that, the three individuals begin whipping you with flaming ribbons, as well as the individuals behind throwing whatever they have left of their sandwiches at you.
Okay.
And you can make me a dexterity check with -20.
Watch as I
you
fail.
get 3 attempts.
Ha! Look at
Okay.
him! He can't get out.
That's one
I
attempt.
desperately look for something to throw at him as well.
I'm going to slowly start rocking the chair if it's possible.
Okay.
To sort of try and get an advantage in some sort of way.
Do you want to roll a strength with -20 instead? Would that...
Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah. Let's do a strength with
Better.
-20. This is to...
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
So, as it was such a decent roll, yes, you were able to basically flex your arms to the side, rock the chair, and the wood starts to flex in a way where your arms are given a little bit more slack to move, and you're able to break your arms free. The three individuals in front of you at this point seem quite disappointed, as it's seemingly unusual for someone to break out of such a thing, and sort of mopily walk back.
Boo!
That's it? This is the room of horror?
Splendid! 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 You are a natural. I feel bad for betting money against you. So let me give you a couple copper just to make up. Here, you can have 3.
Okay.
I sort of look at them and pocket them as soon as they are placed on the map.
So at
Or
this
you can bring
point, the owner walks over to the door and... Everyone, can I have your attention, please? I'm really sorry. The crowd is building up and I don't want to get lynched today. Anywhere that's got too many people buzzing about, it's better we close up shop for the afternoon. So apologies, everybody. Apologies, we got to get out.
What a shame. Well, we still had to play catch the tentacle, but I suppose we'll have to do that another day.
That sounds like a game for me.
At this
Fantasy
point,
tentacle, you said.
the rest of the
Yes.
individuals mopily walk outside, seeming somewhat peeved. But in front of you is now a fairly substantial group of individuals stood beneath and sat beneath a preacher, currently up on the gallows itself, and he seems to have them a little bit riled up.
Oh yeah, before the dude closes his door, can he borrow a tomato just in case, if he has one? Like, excuse me, but do you have a spare tomato? I shall pay you.
Sure, it plays for the champion. Gives you a tomato.
Thank you.
Here's your place.
You are a champion?
Yeah, I won, Bruder. I don't know what I was supposed to do, but I won, yeah.
Ah, congratulations.
Oleg gives a little clap.
Right. Elise is not there. In front of you now. Let's see how we're doing for time. Marvellous, marvellous, marvellous. In front of you now is a priest who seems to be wearing chainmail. Not a, let's say, a priest of the church so much as perhaps even a warrior priest of sorts. He has a hammer down on the floor by his side and shield, which is put to one side. And he is currently... Make a perception test. Plus 20 to see how much detail you can gather of this situation. Whoever's looking to be perceptive.
Plus 20.
Plus 20. Ooh, yeah. Oleg gets a good view of this. You spy the hammer, the shield. You recognise him. You've seen a warrior priest once before back in Boghafen, and you can recognise the insignia and the appearance of this individual. In front of him, the crowd seems to have a similar expression to himself, occasionally raising their hands up in fury, and you get a good vantage point to listen in. Just before you hear what he says, you also spy, Oleg. The guard of this town seem to be keeping their distance from this square currently. You do see a couple of pairs of them, but they seem to be, let's say, intentionally ignoring what's going on, literally looking the other way.
Bruder, this man up there reminds me of one of Grand suitors that used to beat me. Perhaps we should go back to Elise?
But Bruder, now's the time to get rid of those repressed memories and beat him up.
No, this looks like a way to get become rat food. We should go.
As you were
I
there,
see rats and I agree that I don't want to be around them.
given your role, I will, and the duration you've been here, I'll afford you what you can hear of what he's saying. For too long, our streets have been infested with this plague. We can see clear as day the rats congregate around our taverns, and we know why. Not because of fragrant food, but because they are attracted to sin. This town has lost its way and is no longer pure. There's only one way to cleanse us of this blight. That is to cleanse a town of the heathens. Only this morning I was told by a sickly child that they had dined in this very restaurant, and points to his side. And as a consequence is now ill. Rogel, looking at this building he has pointed to, you can notice a peculiar grey cloud hovering above it. No one else is able to see this, but the cloud is familiar to you as being an affinity of your school of magic.
Interesting. So I can see, like, is it intense or is it just lingering?
It's pretty intense.
Okay.
It doesn't look aggressive, but it just looks like there's a large quantity of magic gathering there.
I asked Oleg, like, Bruder, what did you see? This guy? What was his emblems?
Definitely a Sigma, right?
It's definitely a Sigma. Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
It's time to get into the whole drama of it. I sort of rushed forward after hearing his speech, feeling motivated. I sort of rushed forward, and try to take a front seat considering one is available, and I yell out like as I'm walking towards there. Yes, father! Yes, you're right! I'm trying to bullshit as much as possible, like to see where it goes, but like I'm trying to be as honest as possible. Like, I do care to cleanse the heathens in my own sort of way.
Okay. You can certainly notice a couple around you are as enthusiastic as you. Give me a charm test, and let's have a plus 10 because this is fitting your mojo.
Can I re-roll that?
Sure, if you want. It's just to see how well you fit in. Oh, wow. Okay. The priest in front of you sort of locks eyes with you. Yes, of course. This time, though, hanging has not worked for us in the past. We need their heads, and points to the axe in front of him. We need blood to purify this town. Who's with me? And at this point, do you put your arm up?
Oh yeah, I immediately raise my sword up.
Okay. You're the only one.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone else at this point is like, they were with it right until he said about cutting off someone's head. And suddenly they're, and a couple of them instantly start murmuring, moving away. A dwarf at this point approaches. Look, calm down, you bloody wazzock. Look, anybody that can put an end to this, there's some gold coin in it for you. This has been plaguing us for too long, but anyone that can do this without cutting off heads, there'll be some coin in this. And we've had enough of you, Ives. We've had enough hanging for this week. And storms off. He has the look of an official about him. Sort of...
the dwarf?
Yes.
Entschuldigung, was is your name? I sort of like yell, like cocking back in the chair, like...
Is this to the dwarf?
Yeah, to the dwarf.
Afrak.
With the gold coins. Afrak.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's one of the town officials. Representative of Clan Dronats, of course, at your service. Look, if you're able to get to the bottom of this, as I say, there's coin in it for whoever's able to. I've had enough blood.
Very well. We shall convince the priest to cut it with the...
With the cutting.
Yeah, cut it with the cutting. And, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bruder?
Sheath your sword, you look like an idiot.
No. I sort of like slam my hand onto the platform. And I'm like, Father, I have with me a couple of people who are interested in helping the cause.
Rogel reaches up and grabs Grimwald's the cuff of his sleeve and tugs on it a few times. This isn't anything religious. This is magic.
Father Ives at this point has seen a few individuals walking away. He seems even more furious at this point, and although he locks eyes with you, Grimwald, and acknowledges what you say, he seems furious that basically the town is not willing to comply with him. He's just storms away.
No, Father, wait! We can help you!
Stop.
To no avail. He seems utterly... His like got bloodshot eyes, face red. He looks like he's just ready to punch someone.
Guys, the restaurant that he pointed out where someone had died, there's really intense magic there right now.
Yeah, what does that mean?
It means that something's dangerous in there. Or something dangerous wanted that place to become dangerous.
Okay.
So
does
I
that
got...
mean?
I'm not sure that we should get too involved in this religious thing. I mean...
But it's not religious.
So, pardon me, I don't think I've quite caught on to this, but you are a halfling, correct? Is it a thing that halflings can sniff out magic?
He does have a big nose.
I'm just gonna grab the bridge of my nose and squeeze a little tightly and furrow my brow. I'm not a halfling. I'm not a halfling.
You're not?
No, I'm a gnome.
Haha, William, you've just been gnomed!
I'm not quite certain what's going on right now, to be frank.
Look, William, do you
What-
want to make some coin? That dwarf over there just offered coin. Gold even!
Yes, I just advise you not to fight the Sigmarite warrior. Don't fight
no.
church.
It
That's
seems
just
like he likes.
yes. But now, Master Halfling, I mean Gnome, if you say that there is something in there, some magic, could this be the cause of plague?
Possibly. It depends on. Well, it depends on. Metaspeak. It depends on miscasting.
While all of that is going on, I want to gossip with the villagers about the warrior priest and also about the Rook brothers buying cheap land around here. I roll twice if I need to.
Roll me a gossip test with plus 20 first, because everyone right now is abrim with conversation and currently chatting away. They explained to you that there's been quite a few hangings recently to try and, well, basically after mobs have been riled up. This priest has been in town a few weeks, but when he first arrived, he was fairly pleasant, but has become increasingly, let's say, zealous over time, and seems to be becoming more and more dedicated to trying to cleanse this place of its problems, normally through bloodshed.
Do they know where he came from?
No, afraid not. He wandered in from travels, but not many people have engaged in small talk with him, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. And how long has the plague been killing people?
The plague, it's been a couple of weeks now that it's been really sort of flaring up. There was a few weeks ago that the rats started basically running out of the sewers in their hundreds or thousands even. And yeah, no one can quite explain why, although it does seem to be centered around this portion of town. The rest of the town there doesn't seem to be as much of a rat problem.
Okay.
Can you ping the restaurant?
It's this thing. Oh, it's that thing.
Doesn't matter. It's a building.
Which one?
We'll go with this
okay,
one.
this one. Okay.
Okay. Also about the Rook brothers, while I'm still gossiping with the people. I'm gonna roll again.
You can roll again. See what they know.
Anything? Modifiers?
Plus 10 this time.
Oh.
They don't actually know much about that sort of thing. William, from where you're stood, you can hear Shauna inquiring about the Rook brothers.
I might have something to. What is it you wish to know, young madam? I've been in the town for a while.
I've heard that they've been buying cheap lands, and I'm interested in how they get them so cheap and why they need those lands in the first place.
Ah, well, that's actually more relevant than. How much do you know of why your Madam Elise is here?
Not much, actually.
Okay, and I suppose I can tell you that Moritz Slaffen, I'm employed to serve as an advisor. His lands has been dropping in value quite some time, partly due to this plague, which is just making it absolutely unbearable. Like, you don't earn enough off the land. So, I'm not happy to say this, but he has come into some debt, and he must be simply forced to sell it now before it gets worse. And I fear that many other landowners find themselves in much the same situation, because simply the people of the land can't provide enough money to make it worth owning it. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we need to stop this plague.
Stop a plague, yes. I mean, I'd love to, but
We'll give it a shot at least.
Well, you were asking me about this magic.
Yes.
And I mean that, and I need to tell you that. So this is the Grey Wind. This is my wind. The Great Wind gathers in places of intrigue or suspicion, or where great acts of conspiracy happen. And right now, over that restaurant, it is roiling and broiling. It is angry. Something is happening in that restaurant.
Well, I suppose we must go investigate. If I can keep my job and actually get a salary before this is over, that would please me.
I would imagine that this place is so angry right now. I would imagine it has to do with the plague.
Are we gonna need something before we go in? Holy sigils or something to guard us from the plague wind, this grey wind off?
No, nothing like that, no.
I will trust you, Master Gnome.
Oleg, make me a perception test as you're peering in the windows
Hello.
and snooping around. Plus 20.
I have a really great joke to tell.
You see a small figure inside the room peep out, make eye contact with you, and quickly run and hide. It by the +4, it maybe a halfling, maybe a child, perhaps.
Excuse me. Hello.
Oleg taps on the window door, whatever it is.
It's currently shut closed. There's no response to your knocks.
Rogel, you mentioned something about the grey winds, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, okay. I sort of prick up with my butt towards him. These are my winds, and I sort of I call them the brown winds.
You are the most pedestrian.
That was, I think, the most uncouth thing I've ever experienced.
I just walk away.
There you go, I rolled the miscast table for you.
The effect occurs everywhere.
Mr. Grimwell.
I'm so sorry. I
You're
just
somewhere else within like 10 miles.
You cannot simply fart on the gnome in front of a lady. I mean, serious.
Oh God. Sorry, Rogel hears the 3 copper iron from William. We never speak about this ever again. And they just walk away towards.
Stormed off, man.
Had enough of that.
We just go over to where Oleg is, and I'm, Bruder, what did you see
Is it
inside?
It is closed. I did not try to break in, but there was a small one in there, maybe a child. But it made eye contact and ran.
You've only seen the child?
Yeah,
May I suggest we take the door?
certainly.
Oleg checks the door. Is it locked?
It appears to be locked rather flimsily. Like it does budge, but maybe there's a stopper or a latch the other side, but it's not a particularly robust door.
Something you could fiddle open with a dagger?
Probably. Yeah, you could roll me a dexterity plus 30, because you can sort of get it open enough to see the latch and you could just flip it up. Easy done.
And
Easy done.
Oleg opens the door, takes
Okay.
a step inside.
Okay. So, we are back. Welcome back. So, you slide open the door, and inside you see a small cafe. Or what appears to be, at least. Numerous tables, a couple of chairs out by each. A little bit of smell of food in the back room, perhaps. Smells quite pleasant.
Hello.
Rogel's going to heed the words of the fortune teller, like, all day. And let them all go in first.
I'm behind my brother.
Just like to slowly step forward and take a look around.
There is no response to you saying hello. All seems to be quiet.
Okay.
Is the fireplace lit?
No, but it does have some smoking embers there.
Does it look like snuffed out recently, or...?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not sure this is quite legal, but if it's to stop the plague, I suppose it's all right.
William,
The
everything
official
is legal.
said we could review.
Everything's legal as long as you don't get caught.
I don't believe that's entirely right.
I agree.
The official said we could do anything except the killing, yeah? So, we break.
Yo, right? We have leeway to do whatever we want.
I'm just going to be taking peeks around each of the stools.
Oleg is going to take a big old sniff, his mustache quivering.
Okay. The back room
Eyes in front of.
seems to be where the smell is coming from. It's
Rogel would like to figure out where the winds of magic are the strongest in this place.
roll me a test with plus 30 perception.
Which test? Okay.
Because you're still perceiving the exact location, if there is one. But it may take you a minute or two, but we shall see.
For fuck's sake.
I'm not sure exactly. I mean, there's definitely
No, I'm
still
gonna re-roll
it's
it,
hovering
but-
around here. Okay.
There we go.
This corner of the room seems to be where a large amount is emanating from.
Which corner?
Northwest.
Okay.
Go up to the cupboard. What do you do?
Yes, I want to look inside.
Okay. You open up the cupboard, and inside is what appears to be a small halfling who is instantly startled as you open this and screams out, "Oh God, don't hurt me!" And I'll give him a token. Where is he? There he is. Leia. There you go. Oh God, don't hurt me! Don't eat me, please!
All right.
Does
All
anyone talk? Hello?
Please, quiet down.
Place that accent.
What was that, sorry?
Please, quiet down, Master Halfling.
Yeah, Bruder.
Okay.
I can't quite place the accent.
What were you doing in the cupboard?
I was hiding. I saw them outside. They were going to hunt someone down, and he was pointing at me. Oh, it's so scary. He's so big and mean.
Well, I can promise you that we are not with the big priest. We're here to stop the plague because your house is infested with magic.
Oh, magic? Oh no, there's no magic here. No.
No, there's very obviously magic here.
No, I'm
right
really
in front of him.
sure
What do I
there's no
see?
magic. No.
What does he look like? I'm standing like right in front of him.
Make a perception with plus 30. For reasons that may be disclosed. Yep. You know a gnome when you've seen one.
Yep.
He's done a good job of looking like a halfling, though, but you can just tell. The ears and nose are a dead giveaway.
Yep. Probably is a little bit thinner on the thin side.
Yep. So what do you
Is
say?
this door unlocked, by the way?
Yes, it is.
All right. Oleg will be entering there.
Well,
You're all talking.
I'm going to ask him from which clan he hails.
Oh, I'm from a clan from the moot. Oh, it's so great there. There's loads of grass. Oh, it's so great.
Great.
Is this your tavern or eatery?
Sure, yeah. I'm Mort. This is Morlenfurt. This is my cafe. Oh, it's so nice.
It is.
Would you like some food?
Yes, I suppose we should. Since the door was stuck a bit, so yes, we came here to eat.
Sure. Oh, hey, excuse me. Oh, I've just cleaned in there. Oh.
And starts moving to the back room to where Oleg and Grimwald are currently.
Hey, William, I wouldn't eat here.
You would what?
I wouldn't eat here.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah, I tell him that. I would not eat here.
But the
Yeah.
food's really good. Oh, why don't you like it?
This kitchen, it looks a little dirty.
It's actually quite nice. It's quite
Not
clean.
after Oleg just tromped through it.
Oh.
Smeared stuff.
It did look nice when you walked
Grubby
in.
hands everywhere.
Yeah, it did
was-
look nice until you looked.
Oh, there's so much dirt everywhere. Oh, this is gonna take me all afternoon. Oh, God. Oh, well, go.
Starts pulling out a mop and pushing it away.
Glue, Roger, glue.
So I can deduce that the source of this, of the shadow, of the winds of
It's him.
shadow are coming from him. Got
It's
it.
him. The longer you've seen him, the easier it is to spot. And by the time sort of a minute has passed, there seems to be more and more of basically magic emanating from him. You'd be certain that he's a magic user.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and confront him about that while he's doing whatever he's doing in the back.
Okay, so just the two of you in there.
Sure. I guess if it's only the two of us in here.
Sure. Oh, hey there. Would you like some stew?
Why are the winds of shadow coming from you?
He goes to close the door and sort of puts a finger up to his mouth and then sort of moves you away and sort of motions to follow him. Just away from the door.
Intuition.
Sure. Yep, just regular flat roll.
Probably he wants to hug you.
Right.
Yep. He just wants to have a word with you away from the door. Doesn't seem sinister.
Cool.
Okay, fine. You got me. I'm a gnome. Big whoop. I'm trying to stay undercover here.
Well, you're not really staying undercover. You're blasting your winds all over the place. It's very easy to find you.
I can't help it, okay? I got a lot of magic.
So you never had any training?
No, I've had training, all right.
By the time that you've been speaking to him, you'd be certain that he is very strong, let's say, in the ways of magic.
Oh, I get that he's very strong.
But, yeah.
So if he had training, then that means that he's okay.
Okay, listen. I tell you what. Do those guys know about gnomes?
They only know about me.
Okay. Are they cool?
Yeah, they're cool.
They're cool. Okay. Tell you what. Meet me out there.
Goes to open the door, walks back, and we're going to... Boo, 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 boo. At this point, you get to see his real face. As he steps back outside. Move that token out of the way for a second.
Okay, fine. Look, listen up. Big whoop. I'm a gnome. But want to fight about it? Look. I'm a wizard too. Fine. Look, magic. Ooh, impressive. Anywho, I need some muscle around here, and I need some protection. I'm willing to give you a gold coin if you can help me figure out what's going on.
What do you have in mind?
Well, what's the problem first before we agree to anything?
Yeah.
Look, as far as I know, there's something down in the sewers that's scaring all of the rats up to the top. I haven't figured out what it is yet, but I went down there to investigate. And guess what? Something scary came along, something big, so I ran away, okay? I'm a coward, big whoop. You want to fight about it anyway? Look, I need some muscle to come down there with me, and more importantly, this is a bit embarrassing, but I dropped something while I was down there, so I really need to get that back too.
What was that thing you dropped?
It's supposed to be a secret. It's an item, okay? It's worth a lot of money.
A lot of money, you say?
Yes, it's a...
What if we don't recover your item?
Let's put it this way. If you have it and you're not me, people will come for you. They'll keep coming for you, and they'll kill you. It's my job to protect it. It's important. It's really important. And it's a little bit magic.
A little bit magic.
Yep. At this point, he looks out the window.
Hey, I think someone might be listening. I better get back in character.
And you can see his face scrunch up in front of you.
Oh God, I'm so scared again.
What do you guys think? Do you want to go down to the sewers?
Yes.
We've just been to the sewers like last week.
But don't you think we've learned a little bit about fighting rats?
No, I haven't learned jack shit. I'm still fucking terrified of them.
Well, I'll give you a gold coin. There can be some gold in it for you.
And whatever's down there in the sewers causing the rats to come up could also be the source of the plague.
Yeah, fine. But only for the money.
I mean, we would be fulfilling his.
Yeah.
2
gold coins for the price of 1.
And the dwarfs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. 2 gold coins for the price of 1.
I like it.
This is a sound plan.
Not to mention that you will save the town, the countryside, and we'll get whatever that artifact is out of the way.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
I just care about making sure that magic item falls into the right hands.
William, just to point out, it seems like this business owner might also need a good auditor with his fumbly fingers.
Yes, I suppose. I would like to move to the big city, though. So I honestly, I don't intend to stick around here if I can. Like to get enough money to get to Altdorf, become an advisor there.
Then you should come with us and get paid as well.
After we got the item, I'm gonna head to Altdorf myself. If you wanna come with me, you can. But I'm warning you, it's a really long walk. Oh, it's so far.
But I'm sure we'll take it at that point.
Last time I was walking, I got a blister. It took a whole month to go away.
William looks very scared. Very confused. Yes, quite.
William, where is the nearest sewer entrance?
Well, I don't do much in sewer entrance myself, but I'm pretty sure it'll be easy to find.
Do you remember where you dropped your item?
Sure, yeah, kind of.
Then take us there, I suppose.
It's not very far, at least. Sure,
Take us there, then.
Sure, the entrance is actually in my basement. Oh, and the smell is so bad. Oh, let me get some cheese.
Put some cheese up his nostrils. You can notice by now that in between doing this impression, he actually sniggers to himself quite a lot. He seems to just enjoy the tomfoolery of pretending to be a coward.
Oh God!
The clan peddler.
Yep. Perhaps.
He's definitely acting like a member of Clan Peddler.
Perhaps indeed. Perhaps indeed. But yeah, very much gifted in the ways of scrunching his face into peculiar expressions, and does a good job of pretending to be a halfling. So, are you joining him down in the sewers?
I just asked before we go. Excuse me, can we have more cheese?
Sure, there's loads. Oh, it's so good.
Do I get like a huge large circle or just like a small
there's like
or...
loads of wrapped parcels of cheese here, so he's already heading down the hatch into the basement.
Smash your face into it.
I just get like an encumbrance worth of cheese then.
Just wrap your whole head in it, yes.
My friends, if I may ask, are any of you bringing a light source? Otherwise, I fear we may get lost in the dark.
Oh, like
We
Pax's storm lantern.
Torches.
I flick my torch.
I
Excellent.
also.
It's just I'm not wearing one, but I do have a hand mirror if we need to look around corners. Yes.
You are very beautiful, William. Now let us go.
Okay. So, with that in mind, you head down first into his basement, which is just down a small hatched ladder. And in the corner of his basement, which is stocked full of, by the looks of it, wines, cheeses, foods, it's actually looking quite orderly, quite nicely presented, and not actually too many rats either. Quite well kept. But the next hatch is opened in the corner of this room underneath a barrel, which leads down a wooden ladder, which is sort of dropped down into the sewers. And a similar structure to Boghafen's, similar central canal, slippery walkways each side, and darkness. Light overhead, there is intermittent speckles of light that you can see. And he points you to a direction. It's down there, only about 50 feet or 50 yards, I think. Oh, it's not far. Let me just start recording again.
Okay, back to here, I guess, right?
Yeah, back to down here. So, as you are approaching and moving upward, you can see up ahead, straight north on the map, a small flicker of light that quickly moves to the side, and followed by a rattling noise.
Which direction was that? To the right?
Straight up there. No, up there.
All right. So Oleg will slowly head that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna be behind my brooder.
Okay. As you
Weapon
head upward,
shield ready in hand.
As you head upward, you can hear a murmuring sound. If you pass and do a perception test for me, whoever wants to roll.
Mm-hmm.
I'll roll.
Everybody should be very perceptive.
There you go.
Oled, you can, as well as the rattling, you can hear a very faint, "Help me! Help! Help! Help me!"
Oh, Oleg will rush forward.
Yeah.
There is someone in need of help.
Yeah, let's go help him.
Guys, this could be a trap.
But traps are fun.
Traps are gay.
No, you.
No, you.
Okay. So, moving on up, as you move, it gets louder and louder and becomes more apparent that someone is shouting for help. "Help me! Save me! Save me! They're coming! They're coming!" The gate here is open and unlocked. There is a padlock on it. As you move forwards, behind you, Rogel, you spy a curious number of rats that are keeping a safe distance, but following you.
Guys behind us. We have rats that are following us.
Oh no.
They're basically keeping a very far distance, but that's, as you move forward, they sort of follow behind a little bit.
They're behaving like last time where they're staying away from the light, but once there's enough of them, they're going to attack us.
They don't...
Bogenhofen sewer flashbacks.
As far as you can tell,
starts trembling.
There don't seem to be more and more of them pouring in. It seems to be, at least for now, a fairly fixed quantity. But
is there anything like unusual about them? Discoloration, anything like that?
They look quite normal, although basically they just look like they don't want to come any closer to you. A bit like before, they're perhaps scared of the light or scared of you.
I'm just going to grab light the torch on fire that I have.
Yep.
And sort of go behind,
Okay, wave it about a little bit.
Yeah, I wave it about and like
Yeah.
and try to do some noises and just wiggle it around.
They move away. They move out of sight from you.
All of them?
Squeak,
Yeah.
squeak, 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 squeak.
Yeah, they are particularly cowardly. There's less of them than you had observed in Bogarthen, and as far as you can tell, these ones are behaving a little more cowardly.
Well, yeah, because most of the other ones are upstairs.
Okay, so William, in front of you is a gate with a padlock on it, although the padlock is currently open. And the door is able to move. And still, there is a gentleman who appears to be shaking this set of bars, shouting, "Help! Help me! Help! They're coming!"
Right
But
on
it's
through.
unlocked.
William pushes the gate open or pulls it open.
Okay,
Tries both.
it's a push. It's a
And
push.
steps through, I guess.
And you're able to move into a what appears to be the bottom of a well, perhaps, or something of that sorts.
I see someone.
Help! Help! As he sees you, it's hard to get vision of his eyes from here, but he sort of shouts louder and louder now, and appearing more and more panicked. Help me! Help me!
Who are you? How can we help you?
His only words are right now are currently help, 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 help me, help me, help. They're coming for me. I'm pretty much on loop. Mort's going in at this point. Looks a bit fishy.
Was this the way that you came in, Mort?
Yeah, it was over there. Oh, it was past where he's currently shaking. Oh, it's so dark in here. Oh, I'm so scared.
Why can't I go through?
Where is Mort going?
I have no idea why.
I'm gonna go round this way. There's a crate over here.
I'm just moving you through in case you were stuck. But
Yeah.
you can move wherever you want to be.
I follow Mort.
In front of you, William, as you've approached to a close distance with this gentleman, he appears now to be even more terrified. And you notice him rattling some chains as well that are currently wrapped around this padlock. They seem to be wrapped around, for his gate at least, sort of after layer after layer after layer, and you can see him tugging and pulling at them.
How the hell did you get in there, man? How can we get you out?
His words are still, "Help me! Help! Help me!"
I'm trying, but you gotta help me here. I'd like to try to calm him down by man, calm down so we can get a look at this.
Okay. At this point, as you arrive closer, Grimvald, you can notice in front of you that he is not necessarily trying to undo these chains. He's actually tying them up. And when he shouts, "Help me, help me," he is not looking behind him at all, but looking at you. He appears to be terrified of you.
Your mic is muted.
William, this guy appears to be brain damaged.
Are you saying he's mad?
Yes. He seems to be doing something, like he's not looking behind him, like he's looking towards us.
Oleg and Grimvald, at this point you get an uneasy feeling. Hairs on your back of your hands start feeling a little odd. Something's not quite right. And Oleg, behind you, those rats have basically followed. They're still keeping distance. They're not coming any closer, but they're basically keeping a set distance from you. This uneasiness is sort of building and building right now.
I sort of try to dip my what is this this is normal water sewage, right?
Looks
Sewage
quite.
water.
Yeah, you can't see the bottom of it, so there's no way of telling how deep it is. It's steadily trickling through.
I try to just put my sword in. Can I just put my sword in and just wiggle a little bit around?
Make a perception test. No bonuses.
Any bonus? Oh shit! Nice.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
You stick your sword in and you realise that this is pretty deep.
Okay.
And your sword seems to hit something.
Mm-hmm.
You're not exactly sure, and then you swipe it again and you maybe moved it out of the way and can't find it again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, behind you,
The crate?
the crates seem to be full of food. I actually hadn't... There was more of them, so let me just... I done these as individual assets to make them look pretty. There we go. There's a few of them dotted around the room and a couple currently floating in the water. Now, the crate beside you smells quite sweet, smells quite nice. It perhaps has some food inside.
Mm.
Behind you, William, at this point, the rat catcher's words shift. Help me! Help me, master! Help me! Master!
I'm not your master. Oh, wait. Are you in league with the dark gods? I draw my rapier and point it at him, trying to intimidate an answer out of him.
While you're doing so, William, looking at him, Oleg and Grimvald, you rolled particularly well on your hidden rolls for this. So the good news is you're not going to be afflicted by any surprise mechanic. Something starts stirring in the water, and a degree of swirling starts to happen. Something rather spooky happens.
Is it a
Oh, boy.
boat?
It is the Kraken.
That is not a boat.
Out of the
It is
water
a bog octopus.
comes numerous tentacles raising out together at once. William, beside you, one crashes down by your feet, latching on to the edge of the rock. Oleg, likewise beside you, crashing down right next to your feet. This tentacle seems to help raise this putrid-looking monstrosity out of the water and to meet gaze with yourselves. And at this point, we are going to roll initiative.